Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live. Jummah Mubarak to you and your loved ones. I trust you had a wonderful Friday and anticipating and looking forward to a wonderful weekend. The weather's going to be fantastic in Cape Town, and I know some other parts of the country as well is experiencing wonderful, wonderful weather. Thanks for joining us on Channel 347, also on the live stream, www.hilal.tv. It's Friday, as usual. We invite Fahim Stellenboom in studio to chat to us about all things that are happening and introduce interesting people to our show. Assalamu alaikum, Fahim. Welcome back.
Walaikum salam. It's lovely to be back. Yeah, you've just come back from Egypt, so...
Yes, I had a lovely trip, short but exciting, and lots of information.
Exciting time to probably be in a country like Egypt.
Oh, 100%. Look, it was such a, you're right, interesting time because it was what's happening in the conflict between Palestine and Israel,
exactly.
the Rafah border, which is the closest to Egypt, and Egypt controls that side. We went as close as possible to the border. There are a lot of checkpoints, so we couldn't obviously go as further, but we met people that were delivering humanitarian aid from Indonesia, from Thailand, from Turkey, and from the UK as well, all delivering humanitarian aid from ambulances to water to tents, much needed tents. So it was a very, very emotional trip as well.
Yeah, a good one, alhamdulillah.
That's
yes.
it.
Okay, so let's talk about...
let's closer to home.
Yeah, closer to home. You were talking about the weather being fantastic. Have you seen what it's like outside? You know that it's overcast and quite windy, so...
Yeah, earlier
but
on
I think it'll pass.
I think so too. We're looking at about 17, 18 degrees for the weekend,
okay,
the
that's
entire
cool.
weekend.
That's
I think the clouds are gonna turn away from where we are at the moment. But talking about interesting people, you belong to a group of people called the
Food Fairies,
where they do interesting, wonderful ideas. Some taking a bit of the old school, mixing it with the new. And one such person, I believe you have a guest for us that you'd like to introduce.
Her name is Zahra Hendricks. She's a good friend that I met through the group. And she does the most delicious acha. I don't know about you, but I have acha with everything.
Same.
She can tell us about her journey. You'll chat to her some more about that. But what is interesting, she's also a very faithful Food Fairy member. And she, she's part of the sort of the let me put this very politely, part of the kind of the team that always organizes things and stuff. So she's very active on the group and she posts regularly. And most of all, also she's very, very busy and an incredible entrepreneur. And I think this is what we like doing here, is to be able to talk to some of our local people who are kind of going into the space of entrepreneurship and doing well.
Wonderful.
So there we go. I'm delighted to introduce
on the for joining us via Zoom, Zahra Hendricks. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So for the last,
having me,
shukran so much for affording us your time. For all the episodes that I've had Fahim on, every other episode he was said, when are we having Zahra on? When are we having? So we finally have you on, Zahra. For those of our viewers that don't know too much about your product, tell us a bit more. How did you start into the field that you're in?
Yeah, so I really love acha, and so it started during COVID, and we were in lockdown, and I joined the online group, the Food Fairies. That's really where magic happens, and I think some of that magic rubbed off on me. So, like I said, I always enjoyed acha, eating acha. And it started really when I was in primary school. I remember my dad would give me 5 cents for pocket, not for pocket money, but for the morning to take with me to school. And I would pass a shop. I think it was Cassim's. It was a corner shop on my way to Kipling Street in South River. And instead of buying sweets, I would buy acha. Acha and tambrain, I remember.
Right.
And so it really started there. And then obviously I traveled to Pakistan, I traveled to Durban, and always the acha always attracted me at markets. And I always wanted to make my own acha. So when I lived in Durban, I started that process. But somehow I didn't want to become the acha lady. I didn't want to smell like acha, like spices. I didn't want that. So I really resisted it. And so during lockdown, my niece gave me some lemons one day from their farm. And I thought, well, lovely organic lemons, let me make some lemon acha. And that's really where it started. And that's also where the name Zesty comes from. Because I realized that I love working with the veggies and with the spices. I love bringing it together into this deliciousness.
Nice. Okay.
And yeah.
So how do you balance that creativity, bringing that old school flavor into something a bit new? Because let's face it, everyone loves that old school acha taste. And I'm sure your product has a little bit of a twist to it. How do you balance that creativity with the old school versus the new type of taste that people require now?
So, my acha, I think with every batch I make, it's always different. And my one unique acha, if I can just show it, well, it's not unique. I mean, many Indian families make it, but it's unique for me because brinjal acha is not something you find. It's not a common acha you find in the shop.
Right.
It's definitely not one that I bought at any shop ever.
Okay.
And so I love brinjals, and I started working with brinjals, and so that is really my niche, the acha that I love and enjoy. And it's not only an acha, it's more a condiment.
Okay.
So you can have it on crackers, on warm toast, for breakfast. I often bring a jar to work, and they would finish a jar in 1 week. So I always play around with the spices. And so you'll see that no one acha ever tastes the same. And I always say, one's energy, I can give my recipe to someone, and it will not be the same as the other.
So true. So true. Absolutely.
So you need your own energy.
That brinjal mix would go down so well in Egypt because for breakfast they have like a whole buffet, and there was a whole brinjal mix for breakfast as well. So that product will go down so well.
I have to tell you, and I can bear testament to that acha. It is superb.
Stunning.
As I said, I love acha. I often buy, and I like the old traditional acha every now and then as well. But the other one that I love of Zahra is the carrot acha.
Okay.
A very, very nice acha that you. And in fact, recently you introduced a brand new product as well. But before we get to that product, maybe tell us about the variety that you have.
The radish pickle.
The radish pickle. But before the radish pickle, because that's brand new, just give us a sense of all the achas that you have. You have a mixed veg acha. You've got the brinjal acha.
So I have the brinjal, I have mango,
yes.
I have kumquat, I have lemon, I have mixed vegetable. So I try to make the vegetable that's in the season. So I try to work with the season. So when mango season is finished, I will not have mango acha.
Okay.
And because I have a full-time job, my capacity is limited. And so I make, as I am able to.
So, I'm very impressed that you started this in lockdown as well. Like everyone, we all took on a second or third hustle just to try and survive as well. What made you pursue it even after lockdown? I would imagine that this was quite popular. So the concept then took off?
Yes, it did. So it really took off in the food fairy group. I mean, they are my biggest customers, and they always come back for more. They're my most loyal customers. And I think what I enjoy is it's when I get home from work, it's my way of relaxing. When I start working with the vegetables, with the spices, there's something that happens within me. I relax. I go into my zen. There's a playfulness that comes out when I'm working with the acha. And so therefore I continued. And yes, many times I wanted to give up. I wanted to stop.
Right.
But I enjoy it so much. I enjoy making it. And what I enjoy more is when people enjoy the acha.
What is this, scenes of that movie that Aishwarya Rai plays with the whole spice thing as well, just came to mind now as well. Absolutely. So I can picture Zahra just in the evenings going through all her spices and picking out the best one. Zahra, where do our viewers find you? How can they get hold of you to try your amazing products?
So I would suggest they go onto Facebook and Google my name or Zahra Hendricks or Zesty by Zahra and message me or call me. I am at markets, but it's not regular. For example, the Sister magazine market is now only happening next year. I used to be at the Rondebosch market, so I'm still exploring different markets. I don't have one market that I use, but they can contact me.
Okay.
For those
that would like to pursue a business, because let's face it, we're all looking at various opportunities ever so now and then. What advice do you have for those budding entrepreneurs?
I would say whatever you choose, let it be something you love, that you enjoy, that you're passionate about. You cannot sell something that you don't believe in, that you don't enjoy.
Okay, I agree.
And yeah, that's the one thing. The other thing is don't give up.
Nice.
And ask for support.
Yeah.
Ask for support.
Good
You will
advice.
not see the results immediately.
Okay, now that's a little note that I want to remind you of. Hey, you are now on national television.
I know.
Your second point, I will remind you about that. But I mean, because one can taste the love that you have in your acha, Zahra. It really is great. And the fact that, I mean, that you've persevered and you've pursued this. And again, you have a full-time job, completely unrelated. But we'd love to see that you develop this and grow this, that it becomes a product that will be readily available, that you can buy it in the supermarkets and the butcheries and things like that, you know. So, but I think that will be up to you when you're ready to take that step. It's already quite a lot on your plate so far. And as we said, we've just developed this lovely new pickled radishes. Delicious. I finished my bottle of pickled radishes in 1 week.
Wow. Okay. So unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. Zahra, Jazakallah so much for joining us. All the very best with your products. We will tell our viewers a bit more about your product, and hopefully, inshallah, they're going to support you. All the best. Assalamu alaikum. And that's how we end up the first half of the show, the What's On show. We had a wonderful entrepreneur. After the break, we tell you about another exciting event that's happening in the Bo-Kaap area. Do join us after the break. You're still watching Hilaal Live.